Welcome to the Bite Size Brilliance Podcast. I'm your host, April Darley, and today I want to talk about that little green eyed monster, jealousy or envy. So, recently I had an experience. I went to a conference in New York with a friend of mine. And at one point in the conference during this networking, I happened to look over at her and I felt this moment of envy. She was so good at just getting people to open up and talking to them and just really going from person to person and person and networking just with such ease and joy. And then, so what does the little voice in my head do? She's better than you. They like her more. You suck. So, because I do the work that I do, I was quickly able to recognize that. Oh, okay, this is my ego. My ego is not my amigo, and to turn that around. But I wanted to touch base and talk about the difference between envy and jealousy because they're on the same spectrum, but the criteria for them is slightly different. So I'm going to read the difference. The main difference between envy and jealousy is that envy is about wanting what someone else has, while jealousy is fearing that someone will take away what you have. So in envy, there's a feeling of longing or wanting that little special something that someone else has, like a skill, possession, or relationship. And it can involve a mix of admiration or discontent, but it doesn't usually imply hostility. And that is certainly what I felt watching my friend network like a pro that she is, was that admiration, but my ego made it about me. So jealousy is a feeling of resentment, bitterness, or hostility towards someone who has something you want. Jealousy can involve suspicion, protectiveness, and fear of losing something that you already have. Now, I'll never forget when I was in med school, actually had a professor correct some of the students because jealousy and envy are often used interchangeably, but they are slightly different. And the way he helped us remember it was he said envy is usually between you and another person, but jealousy often involves three. So think about if you're in a relationship with someone and someone's hitting on your person, then there's three people involved in that. Where envy, you're just looking at someone and going, wow, I wish I had that. So that's one of the big differences. So think about envy versus jealousy. The jealousy is the bitterness, where envy is the aberration and the little bit of, oh, I wish I had that. So what do you do when you find yourself in envy or jealousy? And it's not hard, okay? But you do have to practice this consistently because your thoughts and emotions are like on a cycle, and it's a double arrow cycle. If you've seen how one leads to another, leads to another. So thoughts can lead to emotions. Emotions can lead to thoughts, and they can keep creating this cycle that you can get trapped in. And before you know it, you're starting to feel some kind of way. You're starting to feel something. So the thought can create emotion. The emotion triggers thoughts that are going to perpetuate that emotion. So, in my example, when I looked at my friend networking like a superstar, my thought was, she's so good. She's better than me. Right. So then, of course, the emotion that's going to kicked up is that rejection or abandonment. It's like they love her, but I suck. Right. Not true. So we have to catch it when we catch it and stop it immediately. And the what I did in that moment was to look at my friend and go, you know what? I love her. She is amazing. This is one of her strengths. And look at her go. I'm so proud of her. So instead of making it about me, poor little April, you suck, I quickly flipped it to that admiration piece because she's so amazing. Look at her go. And when you have envy, here's another little secret, is your brain, your subconscious is seeing something that you are also capable of doing, but you're not doing it. You're resisting it. So, what I did in that moment when I caught on to number one, I'm having some envy and thinking and feeling some kind of way. Number two, stop that because your ego is not your amigo. Number three, I started to reinforce the positive things. It's like, do I want to feel envy? No, I don't. So if I don't want to feel that, then I'm changing the course of my thoughts. Because if I continue to think envious thoughts, which make me feel bad, remember, you get trapped in that cycle. So the way I diverted that was to think about what I wanted to feel instead. I wanted to feel proud and look at my friend go. I wanted to feel gratitude that she's modeling a way forward. I felt such admiration that she was in her strength at that moment and so proud of her. And this is an abundant thought process as well because a rising tide lifts all boats. And I know that when I have true friendship, it's not about me versus her. It's we all win when one of us wins. So that also helps defeat that little voice inside of you that's scarcity, that is survival based, that will easily tip you into jealousy is there's not enough for everyone and they're going to take what I have. So you want to catch the thought, replace the thought, really understand, dig into the why that thought is happening, and then understand I'm feeling some kind of way because I'm resisting doing something. I see how beneficial it is for them, and I'm resisting it for myself. So I use that as motivation to actually be more bold in my networking from that point on. And that is how I solved my little case of envy. And I haven't felt envious in so long, so it really caught me by surprise. But thankfully I do have these mindset tools and I help people develop a growth mindset. And these things aren't hard. They're really very simple, but you don't know what you don't know. And so I had to acknowledge that we all have different strengths. And just because something may not be your strength doesn't mean that you can't do it. So obviously, this networking was a strength of my friend, but it doesn't mean I can't do it myself. And that is what we need to keep reminding ourselves. You don't have to be an expert to do something. You don't have to be super strong to do something. You don't have to do it perfect to do something. That is all ego that tells you otherwise, and your ego is not your amigo. So, if you would like to develop a growth mindset, if you have been struggling with envy, jealousy, ego, or that thought emotion cycle is making you feel a way that you don't want to feel, then this is where I can help you. So, right now, I'm doing free phone consultations. You can book one at aprildarley.com. They're about 20 minutes. And I'm going to tell you why this cycle happens. So I'm going to listen to whatever you have going on. And then I'm going to let you know about how I can help you get out of that ego space, get out of the scarcity space, get out of the imposter syndrome or I'm not good enough, I suck space, and how we can flip that so that you actually go out and live life better. You do life better because you become expansive and better. So if you want that for yourself, my friends, head over to aprildarley.com, book your free 20-minute phone consultation. And as always, please like, share this podcast, subscribe. I am so grateful for you. And until next week, you'll get another piece of bite-sized brilliance, but I hope you have a fabulous week in the meantime. Bye.